Welcome friends. In this video, I am going to discuss about the buses. Okay, what are the buses in computer architecture? So basically, a bus in a computer system is a communication system that transfer data between the different parts of the computer. And that different parts may be your CPU. The core component will be CPU and the peripherals such as memory and input-output devices, right? So the CPU can interact with the memory and input-output devices via these buses, right? And please note that these buses are the physical set of wires or lines. I am emphasizing the word physical, right? So these buses are physically present in your motherboard of the computer that carry signals like data, addresses, and control inside the computer, right? So this is a figure depicting the all types of buses like address bus, data bus, and control bus. So please note that the direction of these buses, right? Here you can see that address bus is unidirectional from CPU to the input output, and data bus is bidirectional, right? So let's discuss all the three types of buses. The first one is the address bus. As the name suggests, it carries the address of the memory location or the input output device where the data needs to be read from or written to by the CPU. Okay, so basically it determines how much memory can be addressed by the CPU. So for your understanding, I have taken two examples here. One with a 3-bit address bus and second one with 16-bit address bus. So the CPU with a 3-bit address bus can address 2 to the power 3, that is 8 bytes of memory. So basically what happens in the memory, there creates 8 blocks of memory. Like 2 to the power 3 means 8 bytes of memory. So it will look like 000, 011, 100, 001, 010, 101, 110 and 111, right? So there are of total 8 you can say blocks inside the memory, right? So CPU can address all these memory locations, right? Suppose the CPU wants to fetch 001, okay? Basically it is an address. So suppose the CPU wants to fetch the data present at this address 001. So what the CPU does, basically it will load this address on the address bus, right? And the address bus will fetch the data present on this address and will be given to the CPU, right? So CPU can fetch the data present at this address, right? And similarly, a CPU with 16-bit address bus can address 2 to the power 16, that is 64 kilobytes of memory, right? So similarly here, you can create this kind of combination, right? And it is a unidirectional, that is from CPU to the input output or the memory, right? Now let us discuss about the data bus. So it carries the actual data being transferred, like numbers or the instructions given to the CPU by the user, right? And its width, the basically the number of lines determines how much data can be transferred at once. So basically, how much data can be carried by the data bus is calculated in bits, right? Suppose 8-bit, 16-bit, 32-bit. So the more the number of bits, the more data can be carried by the data bus, right? So the size or the width of the bus determines how much data can be transmitted at once. Like 16-bit bus, basically the data bus can transmit 16 bits of data at a time. Similarly, 32-bit bus can transmit 32 bits at a time. Now let us discuss about the control bus. I have given the this figure in the end of the slide, so I will discuss this after the discussion of all these three buses. So the control bus, what it does, it carries the control signals to coordinate and manage the operation between the CPU and the input output or the memory addresses. And these control signals may be your read operation, write operation, or the input signals, right? So basically, there are only two types of operations: read and write. We sometimes use interrupt signal, but broadly there are two types of operations only: read and write, right? Read and write. So control bus also transmit the response signal given by the hardware, right? And the hardware does not include the CPU. It includes the peripherals around that CPU, right? Like your RAM, your SSD, and there are many types of input outputs. So this control bus mainly indicates whether the CPU is reading from the memory or writing to the memory, right? Now let us discuss the working of the all these three buses: address bus, data bus, and the control bus. So suppose when the CPU needs some data, it puts the address of that data on the address bus, like I discussed here. Suppose the CPU wants to fetch the data present on this address 100. So this 100 data will be loaded on the address bus, right? Loaded on the address bus. This address bus tells the memory system to give the data stored at that location to the CPU. Okay. Then the memory responds by putting the requested data onto the data bus, right? And finally the CPU reads the data from the data bus. So basically what is happening here, CPU loads the address like 100 on the address bus. Then this address tells the memory system to give the data stored. Okay. And what kind of operation the CPU want to perform here? That operation is reading the data. Okay. So that the signal, meaning the reading signal will be loaded on the control bus. That uh, the CPU wants to read the data, right? Suppose if the CPU want to find the or want to read, sorry, wants to write the data, then the write operation will be loaded on the control bus, right? So this is the mainly working of the buses with the CPU. Now let us understand this figure. So basically this figure is only between the CPU and the memory or the input output. But here I also covered the address buses, CPU at the memory or input output, right? So the direction are same as before, like for address and the control bus, this is the control bus and this is the address bus and this is the direction bus, sorry, data bus. So direction is from the CPU towards the buses, right? For address and the control bus, and the data bus is bidirectional, as you can see here, right? And for the memory addresses, I have given the direction like from address to the memory, it is single directional. This is direction. For data bus, it is bidirectional, right? This is bidirectional. And from the control bus to the memory, it is also unidirectional. And similarly for input and output, you can also refer from here, right? So that's all for this video. Thanks for watching the video. If you have any doubt in your mind, you can comment down below. I will definitely answer. So thanks for watching the video.